They're not gonna, who the is that guy? Who the is that? You know damn well who I am. Who the is that?
This is what happens when you get overly ambitious and consumed by greed. Conor McGregor is a carefully crafted illusion, a brand. See, for years, you've been fed this narrative of a rags-to-riches underdog turned king, a man who talked his way to the top. And sure, the man has talent. That left hand has put away some of the greatest in the UFC. The Irishman took over the game, no doubt. He brought eyes to the sport. But the truth is, the Conor McGregor we see, the notorious one, is a character that was built up by Dana White, the UFC, and the media. And Conor, he loved it and built this myth, this untouchable aura. They sold you a product and you bought it. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. The downfall of Conor McGregor was inevitable. And in this video, I'm going to expose exactly why the king is now nothing more than a jester in his own kingdom. Stay tuned, because this is going to get ugly. So, why does everyone still cling to this idea of McGregor as some kind of MMA deity? Why hasn't the mainstream caught on to the fact that his reign is over, that he's more of a marketing machine than a fighter these days? It all boils down to one thing: masterful manipulation. Look.
The real hardest hitting 145er right here. This guy TKOs people. When I knock people out, they don't move. They're not gonna, who the is that guy? Who the is that? You know damn well who I am. Who the is that?
From day one, Conor understood the power of spectacle. He wasn't just a fighter, he was a showman, a master of self-promotion. He trash-talked with a ferocity and charisma like Ali. He predicted his knockouts with eerie accuracy, calling his shots like some kind of combat Nostradamus. He is Mystic Mac. He dressed in flamboyant suits, flaunted his wealth, and became the pride of Ireland. And the media loved it. They amplified his every word, every gesture. They built him up as this unstoppable force, this Irish warrior who had conquered the fight world with his fists and his wit. The UFC, desperate for a new superstar, fueled the fire, giving him preferential treatment, fast-tracking him to title shots, and carefully curating his image.
You know what Conor told me? He says, I want Khabib in Russia. Is he He's like, I want Khabib in Russia.
They knew he was box office gold, and they milked that for all it was worth. This is how you build a myth. And Conor, he played the game perfectly. He embraced the notorious persona. He reveled in the attention, the money, the fame. He became a global icon, a symbol of success and excess. He made people believe he was invincible, that he could do anything he set his mind to. He sold them a dream, and they bought it. That, my friends, is how you turn a talented fighter into a legend. This man was living a movie, and we were his audiences, living vicariously through him. But here's the reality check. Behind the flash, the bravado, the carefully crafted image was a fighter who was, ultimately, human. A fighter who could be beaten, who could be broken, who could be tapped and knocked out. The truth is, the cracks in the McGregor facade were always there, hidden in plain sight. The seeds of his downfall were sown from the very beginning. The losses, the distractions, the ego. It was all adding up, a ticking time bomb waiting to explode, but no one wanted to see it. They were too busy worshiping at the altar of the notorious one. This invincibility he displayed was never real, and we're going to take a deep dive into exactly how this came crashing down. The pursuit of money and fame ultimately destroyed him as a fighter. His hunger, that raw, primal drive that propelled him to the top. It vanished as soon as he got that $100 million payday. Remember the old Conor, the hungry, laser-focused fighter from Crumlin who clawed his way up from nothing? He was the first two-division UFC champion, a feat that cemented him in MMA history. He was the pride of Ireland, a national hero who put his country on the map in the fight world. This guy was a warrior who was dedicated and dangerous. Then came Floyd Mayweather, the boxing match that redefined the meaning of a money fight. And surely Conor made an obscene amount of money, but that's where it all started to unravel. That fight was the beginning of the end for the notorious one we knew. Think about it. After Mayweather, what happened? The devastating loss to Khabib, a fight where he was humiliated, exposed, dropped, and tapped. Do you guys remember the bus attack leading up to the fight? The constant legal troubles, the lawsuits, the accusations of cheating. Multiple loses to Poirier, a fighter he previously knocked out. This wasn't just a rough patch, it was a destruction. The drive was gone. The eye of the tiger had faded. He was more interested in promoting his whiskey, his clothing line, his various business ventures, than he was in actually fighting. He became a caricature of himself, a parody of the notorious persona he had so carefully crafted. He was losing, getting sloppy, getting injured, and getting in trouble. Look at it from this new perspective. The Mayweather fight wasn't a victory for Conor, even though he walked away with millions. It was a strategic sacrifice. He traded his legacy as a UFC fighter for a massive payday and global recognition. He sold his soul for the mainstream appeal, and in doing so, he lost the very thing that made him special, that made him a champion. He became a businessman and a celebrity. McGregor chose the money and the fame and the glory over the sport, and it cost him everything. The downfall of Conor McGregor is a cautionary tale, a stark reminder that the pursuit of wealth and fame at the expense of your passion and your integrity can lead to your ultimate destruction. But the decay of Conor McGregor, the erosion of his fighting spirit, goes deeper than just the losses and the scandals. It seeps into every aspect of his career, even the areas that people still try to defend. This isn't just about a few bad fights. It's about a shift in his priorities, a shift that has poisoned everything he touches. Take his training, for example. Remember the intensity, the dedication, the obsession he used to have? It's gone. You can catch him at the pub promoting his drink. He's surrounded by yes men who are more interested in being part of than pushing him to be a better fighter. He posts strategic videos on social media, showing off training for a comeback. It's about maintaining the illusion of being a top fighter. And what about his fighting style? The fluidity, the precision, the innovative striking that once defined him. It's become predictable, stagnant, reliant on that one big left hand. He's not evolving, not adapting. Mystic Mac turned into McGregor's sleep. Even his connection with the fans, that raw, electric energy that used to fuel him, is gone. He's become aloof, detached, more interested in building his brand than in connecting with the people who supported him from the beginning. But why? Why would a man who had it all, who achieved the pinnacle of his sport, allow himself to fall so far? Why would he let people believe the lie, the illusion of the notorious one, when the reality is so different? Here's the sad truth. Conor McGregor is trapped. He's trapped by the very persona he created, by the expectations he set, by the empire he built. He can't go back to being the hungry, driven fighter from Crumlin, even if he wanted to. He's become a commodity, a product. And the UFC loved it. The notorious brand demands that he keeps up appearances, that he keeps selling the world the image of a winner, even if he is losing everything. Conor made his choice. Now he has to live with it. Now, if you're still clinging to the idea of a McGregor comeback in the UFC, if you still believe he's got what it takes to step back into the octagon, you need to go to sleep. Dana White and the UFC needs to find a new puppet. We have to start with the Khabib rivalry. The bus attack, fueled by Conor's rage and his vendetta against Khabib's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, showed a man unhinged, with no self-control, a man willing to endanger innocent bystanders to settle a score. He was arrested for this, remember? This is not the behavior of a champion, it's the action of a thug. This wasn't just about a championship belt, it was a clash of styles, of morals, of ideologies. And Khabib, with his relentless grappling and unwavering discipline, exposed Conor's weaknesses to the world. And this wasn't an isolated incident. Remember Miami? Conor was arrested again for smashing a fan's phone outside a nightclub. Another display of arrogance, of a complete disregard for the people who helped make him who he is. It's a pattern of behavior, a clear indication of a man spiraling out of control. Next, it was the rematch with Dustin Poirier. 2 devastating losses, each more conclusive than the last. In the second fight, he was knocked out. In the third, his leg snapped after a leg check. These weren't just defeats, they were symbolic of his physical and mental decline. They showed a fighter who was no longer able to compete at the highest level. But the evidence of Conor's downfall extends far beyond the octagon. This man was riddled with controversy, accusations, and haunted by his own demons. The whispers of infidelity, the cheating scandals that have dogged his relationship, the multiple sexual assault allegations, including the ongoing case with Nikita Hand, a serious accusation that he has denied, the lawsuits and legal battles that seem to follow him everywhere he goes. And what about the constant call-outs from the likes of Jake Paul, a YouTuber turned boxer who sees Conor as nothing more than an easy payday? The fact that these challenges are even entertained speaks volumes about how far Conor's stock has fallen. Then there are the steroid accusations. Conor looks huge. While never proven, these accusations continues to tarnish his legacy. All of this paints a picture of a man in shambles. The notorious Conor McGregor, a fighter who once captivated the world, is gone. The tale of what happens when fame and fortune eclipse passion and integrity. The man is a mess. His empire is crumbling, and the truth, no matter how hard he tries to hide it, is finally coming to light. So, where does that leave us? What's the final word on the tale of the Irishman? It's a story of a meteoric rise and a devastating fall. A story of a man who had it all and lost it all. This was a man who was once the pride of Ireland, a national treasure, a symbol of hope and determination for a nation that had long yearned for a hero to call its own. He put Irish MMA on the map. Now, he's become a source of embarrassment, a disgrace to the very people who once idolized him. His name, once proudly displayed in pubs across the country, is now being removed. Images of him scrubbed from the walls, his products pulled from the shelves. Brand deals have fallen through. The civil lawsuit with Nikita Hand hangs over his head like a dark cloud. And his UFC career? It's on life support, if not already dead. He's a reminder that even the brightest stars can burn out. And if you get too close to the sun, you will burn. The truth is, I loved Conor McGregor. He was my favorite UFC fighter. But we have to acknowledge the truth, no matter how difficult it may be. It's about recognizing that the man we see today is not the same man who took over the UFC, who captivated the world with his mouth and skills. The story of Conor McGregor is a tragic lesson for us all, and it's a story that's far from over. But one thing is certain, the notorious era is finished. The Irish king has fallen. He is a flawed, broken king,